Thank you. Next. Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond ARTV. My name is John, and I talk about all things music for the love of music. And for the love of music is why I'm having to talk about this new single, 7 Rings by Ariana Grande. She obviously had Thank You Next, her #1 single, drop a couple of months back, and now she has her brand new song from her upcoming album. Yes, that's right, another upcoming album. She just dropped Sweetener over the summer of 2018, and now apparently it's time for an album of the same name, Thank You Next. Hey, the lead single, it wasn't that bad. Thank You Next is catchy enough. I'm not exactly a fan of the song, and it feels a little bit more basic and limited, but at least vocally it still had something that I could say, yeah, that's Ariana Grande here. Now, on this new single, 7 Rings, this is like Taylor Swift, Look What You Made Me Do levels of identity crisis as she attempts to copy Soulja Boy's flow and then sample a few of my favorite things, that classic song, These Are a Few of My Favorite Things. Well, here, Ariana Grande takes that and somehow weaves it into this trap pop crossover nightmare. How do you even begin to dissect a train wreck like 7 Rings? There are levels to this shit. There are so many things that are going wrong and are going bad in this song that it's hard for me to know where to begin. So I guess I'll just start with the music. Chances are, if you've logged onto Twitter in recent times, then you've seen the accusations flying around of plagiarism surrounding Ariana Grande. Did she copy Soulja Boy's flow from his hit song Pretty Boy Swag? Did she rip off Princess Nokia, a New York rapper? Or did she copy Stevie from Malcolm in the Middle?
And still, he has nothing.
Truth be told, I've been on a bit of a social media hiatus, so I didn't see everything immediately. I just heard the song 7 Rings, and something about it sounded so familiar, outside of the sample, of course, of my favorite things. I knew that right away, and the way that that is mixed in and starting off the song, it's one way to do it. It kind of drips and it oozes of this modern dark pop vibe where everybody's being so serious and everyone thinks so highly of themselves. And then you get into the actual song, and Ariana Grande is pretty much attempting to flow for the entire song, and it is so weak, especially towards the end. It's like, what are you trying to be here? You're hopping on this like trap trend, and you're copying other people's flows because you couldn't do it yourself. And the entire time, it's just flexing. It's literally saying, look at all these things that I have. And there's also a limit to, I feel, what a listener should have to handle. We constantly get flexed on by rappers, and that's one thing, but I feel like pop music especially, there's always been a relatability, at least in places, and I feel like that's what made a lot of it connect for listeners for the longest time, but now it seems to be about who can flex the hardest, and Ariana Grande is just adding fire and fuel to that flame that already existed. People already feel this way, and I just don't like the mentality behind it. It basically says, I judge myself and others based on how much they can spend or how much they can buy, and I'm empowered by buying 7 rings for myself and my friends. If that's actually what empowers you, then go off, I suppose. It's not my cup of tea, but where I draw the line and where I throw the tea out the window is when Ariana comes through and starts trying to take these other sounds that other people paved the way for, and then she just takes it and then collects a paycheck to make it even bigger. It's like when things get escalated and you see an artist start off in a certain genre and then it blows up because maybe somebody huge takes part in that genre as well, and people are like, oh, that's amazing, what an original fresh sound. The truth is, it's existed for the longest time, and Ariana is just kind of copying and hopping on trends here. Even if this song didn't jack flows, even if this song didn't have all of the interpolations of like even the notorious B.I.G. track and the bridge, or of course favorite things in the intro and throughout woven into the beat, even if it didn't have those elements and was just Ariana rapping and flexing and it had the same lyrics and overall cadence, I would not have anything to do with this because it is straight up trash. Who sits down and listens to this and you're like, yeah, I love this because Ariana is so relatable and we love a flex queen? I want it, I got it, and done it. Ariana Grande has somehow made Soulja Boy look like a damn genius because just a couple of days after he went on The Breakfast Club talking about how he made Drake's career because Drake copied him and other people are jacking his flows, 2 days later, Ariana Grande drops 7 rings and basically proves his point. Let's talk about the music video as well, because these uncredited flows are one thing that she's taken on, but also the personality that she takes on in the music video and the overall setting that is used. If you might notice, there's a pink house out front that everybody's in front of. If that looks familiar to you, do you think back to 2017 and you see the album cover for Pretty Girls Like Trap Music by 2 Chainz, and that is an actual location. They painted a house pink, they wrote that on it, 2 Chainz even posed in front of it, and a lot of people came by. It was in Atlanta, Georgia. And now Ariana suddenly has this pink house and a painted pink car with even the windshield sprayed out just like 2 Chainz did for his album cover. Look at me over here defending 2 Chainz. I'm not his biggest fan. I thought that album was actually pretty solid overall, especially by his standards, but I'm over here having to go out on a limb and defend Soulja Boy and 2 Chainz because Ariana was so blatant and her team was so careless. Now, getting down to the accusations that Princess Nokia made of her jacking her flow from her 2017 single, I hear it for sure. I do hear the similarities and the way that they have their cadence, their presence on the track. Ariana's kind of rattling things off quickly, and it's just kind of the up and down, like you hear in a lot of trap stuff, but sure, it sounded similar. But then I had to look into it a little bit further because I wasn't familiar necessarily with Princess Nokia, and then I looked into the people that were saying that she sounded like somebody else from earlier times, and I heard that as well. So I don't want to necessarily weigh in there because I'm by no means an expert, but I definitely hear a lot of similarities, and again, it just seems like the circle of people just reaching around and taking things from other people. At the same time, Ariana Grande should not be the only one to be caught red-handed here because literally 90% of the mainstream trap rap songs that are popular in the past 12 months, they pretty much all have the same flow and style. Maybe not the exact same flow, but the way that the songs sound, they're just kind of buzzing and like da-da-da-da-da-da-da, woo, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, woo, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, ad-lib. The lyrics, too, are just so cringe-inducing. There's so many lines that make you maybe roll your eyes or maybe make you want to jump out of a moving motor vehicle. Maybe that was just me last night when I was hearing it for the first few times. Ariana Grande's new single 7 Rings is really straight up flaming garbage no matter how you look at it. It's a faceplant into oblivion, another drop in the ocean of forgettable trap songs that just try so hard to make you care. But why should I care if you're flexing harder than the next person? But go off and continue thinking that Ariana Grande is such a savage because she spends money and makes a lot of royalty checks. I'll continue listening to her back catalog, which would feature literally anything better than this. It's easily her worst song to date, and just last year she gave us God is a Woman, Breathin', and No Tears Left to Cry, and now we're on to this? Thank you. Next, please subscribe to my channel for the love of music. Turn on notifications while you're at it to make sure that you get notified of future uploads. If you would like to see an Ariana Grande Sweetener review, then tap right over here or tap here for another recent video I made. Socials can be found in the description down below, and I'll see you soon for more on Beyond ARTV.